Hello, I'm Bill Greer, President of Smart Recovery USA.
And I'm Mark Ruth, the Executive Director of Smart Recovery USA. On behalf of our past, present, and future Smart Leadership team and our worldwide Smart community, we'd like to share with you several extraordinary presentations from our 2019 Silver Anniversary National Conference.
We hope they will inform your work and inspire your service to SMART. Together, we will embark on our next 25 years of helping individuals and families recover from addiction and find balance and purpose in life.
I've been facilitating family and friends meetings online here at SMART for 6 years. And while that may sound like I'm an obvious choice to be doing this here today, that's not really true. There are many others who do family and friends face-to-face meetings out there in the community and online who could do this as well or probably better than I. And in fact, I'd like to ask those in the audience who do facilitate family and friends meetings if you just stand up. Got to be a few of you. Yeah. Thank you. And I do want to acknowledge one of those, although she'll kill me for doing this, one of the special facilitators, that's Roxanne Allen, who really, to me is the face of SMART Family and Friends. She's a longtime board member of SMART, a mentor to me, and I'm sure to many others of you in the room. So I'm really honored to be sharing my story with you this afternoon. Talking about really the past, present, and future of family and friends through my own personal lens. I think we went too fast here. Okay. When my 22-year-old son was struggling with an addiction to hydrocodone after major back surgery, I wish this flyer, is it up there? No. Yeah, okay. You can all see already, you know, I'm not a tech person. I wish this flyer had been, I don't know why this keeps bouncing. This is the one I want. Okay. I wish this flyer had been posted in my own town. My husband and I were overwhelmed and floundering. Although I'm a social worker by training and profession, I had no experience with addiction. And I suffered from a common occupational hazard of those in the helping professions. I was in the business of helping, and when I didn't have the ability to fix my son's addiction, it was an extremely painful experience. There it is. What I heard from others, professionals included, was he has to hit rock bottom before he's willing to change. And I believed it. And the story is no different than those I hear every week in my family and friends meeting. My son continued his addiction. He ended up in jail. Aha, we said, he's hit rock bottom. So he returned to our home, and at our insistence, he entered a day rehab program, went to work, moved out, and relapsed. My husband and I then lived with the fear that we would get a call that he had overdosed, and the hope that he would contact us ready to give up the opioids. We got the call, and he's been sober for almost 9 years. His recovery is his accomplishment, enhanced by a few things his parents did right, and also a very good friend, and lots of plain, old-fashioned good luck. There might be a few of you in the audience who recognize this photo. I use it as my icon in my video screen at my meeting. It's me and my granddaughter, now 7, my most cherished of my son's many accomplishments during the last 9 years. The fact that my son survived his 8-year addiction is also due to SMART. He entered an inpatient treatment program requiring that participants supplement their treatment by attending daily support group meetings. However, they were ahead of the curve and not insisting it be a traditional 12-step one. That's how my son found SMART and introduced it to me. And something very interesting, when Deshaun was talking, my son's connection, Boston. That's where it happened. From the moment I contacted SMART in 2013, I was hooked. Already familiar with the power of REBT, I wanted to get involved in helping families. I wanted to be a messenger for Captain Jack Sparrow, who tells us, the problem is not the problem is your attitude about the problem. At that time, 6 years ago, there was one tool-time online meeting facilitated by Roxanne and a late colleague, and a year earlier, they had authored the Family and Friends Facilitators Manual and participant handbooks that were used as a basis for that meeting, combining both the tools used in SMART recovery and what they had learned about the CRAFT approach. And for those of you who are not familiar, CRAFT is a therapy program for families developed by Dr. Bob Myers and has had enormous success. And based on the same sound mental health principles as SMART, it provided a starting point for developing a family and friends approach here at SMART. And by the way, since that time, our Family and Friends Handbook is now in Kindle version as well. Roxanne took me under her wings after I completed the facilitators training, and we began co-facilitating a second online meeting. Eventually, we split up to be able to provide an additional meeting. Both of our meetings are check-in meetings where participants' issues dictate the discussion. Ooh, I'm there. Okay. Just as in face-to-face family and friends meetings, we share SMART tools in our discussion of how change happens, learning how to better communicate, understanding and restoring healthy boundaries, practicing emotional self-management, self-care, trust and safety, and acceptance and understanding. And another volunteer facilitator, Lisa, continues the original tool time meeting where topics in our handbook are presented in detail, a different topic each week. As our experience has grown, our meetings have been enriched by many participants from SMART Recovery. At the start, Roxanne and I had many discussions of how family and friends meetings would work if people from recovery showed up. That seems a very silly idea to me now. Our loved ones from recovery meetings have contributed so much to our participants' understanding of addiction, and feedback from those in recovery indicates they greatly benefit from participating. They come for a variety of reasons: to better understand their families, or to encourage their families to attend a family and friends meeting, or to better cope themselves with a family member with an addiction. And sometimes they show up accidentally, thinking they are attending a recovery meeting, and they decide to stick around for a while. And whatever the reason, they often return many times. Whoops. We missed one here. I think that's, okay, I think we're right. Here are just a few of the benefits in understanding to them. Why family reacts to their addiction in fairly predictable ways, how their family can provide meaningful support, how tensions in family relationships can be diminished, what kind of communication works, and why self-care for family members is important. And the most important outcome for those in recovery is what many have told us, that they are happy when their family attends family and friends meetings because both their families and their own lives improve. They have experienced the reality that family members can be a powerful support for recovery. More recently, attendance by professionals at our meetings, and especially professionals in training, has grown. Those working towards certificates or degrees in counseling or social work who are interested in work in the addiction field. I've lived through 3 online meeting platforms, barely. And Michelle, Dennis, Roxanne, and others can attest to that. And please, let's not do another one too soon. But if I could learn to do an online meeting, anybody can do it. Trust me on that. One of the positive things is that practicing tolerance is a really good skill to be able to improve on. And my participants in my meeting learn how to practice tolerance with my lack of tech savvy. But even I can recognize how much better our technology is now. During this time, face-to-face meetings have grown. In 2012, the year before I joined SMART, there was a small pilot program of 3 face-to-face meetings. And by the end of 2013, we had 10 meetings. By 2015, there were 40 in North America, and currently there are nearly 140. Very importantly, we have developed a Family and Friends Facilitators Training as an adjunct to the Recovery Facilitators Training. Since its inception only last year, 500 people have completed this training. The present feels lots better than the past. We reach family and friends of those struggling with addictive behavior and let them know, no rock bottom. We try to help them understand what a wiser social worker than I wrote in an article entitled, "The Flawed Psychology of Forcing People to Hit Rock Bottom." In it, Brooke Feldman shares this: "The key to supporting people living with addiction and reaching their full potential is the exact opposite of letting them hit rock bottom. It means to foster social connectedness rather than to force isolation. It means to practice acceptance rather than intolerance. It means to fan self-worth rather than to fuel shame, and it means to love rather than disdain." She states, "It is long past time that the ways in which we view and treat addiction line up less with opinion, personal moral belief, and socially transmitted misinformation, and instead more with what science tells us about human behavior and social development." She continues with, "It seems that it is in science where we find the compassion, empathy, and understanding that society is still too often lacking." And you can find her article, by the way. I think it was reprinted in our SMART blog, which you can find on the website. Here at SMART, we know we are doing what is sorely lacking in other approaches to helping families. We know this because our participants tell us, and there's some comments and feedback we get. But the only reward worth the having for having done good work yesterday and today is a chance to do better work tomorrow, and better work we need to do. The truth is we are helping very few in proportion to the need. The sheer numbers out there should keep us doing online meetings around the clock. Instead, we run 3 per week and 1 on the UK website. And why do we have 140 face-to-face meetings when 500 individuals have already completed the Family and Friends training? There's a wonderful baseball movie called Field of Dreams, and in it, Kevin Costner's character walks in his cornfield one night and hears a voice telling him, "If you build it, he will come." It's fantasy as a metaphor for creating something as a first step to success. But lots of hard work is necessary to change a fantasy to reality. We need all of us to do whatever we can to make the reality continue to happen for SMART family and friends. Public speaking, articles, letters, wearing SMART hats and t-shirts are things that help. We need to do outreach for SMART in our communities, for family and friends, be on the lookout for making connections to other organizations who can help, and encourage more people to use their training to develop new meetings, online, in communities, and especially where existing recovery meetings exist. But in my opinion, all of this is still not enough. When Mark Ruth came on board as executive director, he said, "For more than 24 years, the collective efforts of many individuals are at the core of a truly awesome story about an organization that has grown steadily and made a huge impact. And yet, despite clear evidence of success, SMART is still somewhat a secret." Unlocking that secret is the future for SMART Family and Friends. We need funds that can expand our reach, and in my opinion, we need serious media exposure to do that. It's the reality of the world we live in. We're far from SMART being part of our vernacular. Recently, my husband was approached by 2 young women at the supermarket doing fundraising for a local drug prevention program. When he mentioned that I'm a facilitator for SMART Family and Friends, they had no idea what he was talking about. I hope to live long enough to not hear the common reaction after I've explained SMART Recovery. How come I've never heard of it? It sounds like a great thing. Yes, we all know it is. And we also know, as we've heard from earlier speakers, the pain of addiction, and right now the opioid one is an epidemic. Family members are broken and terrified. Many have lost a loved one. They're living in utter confusion about how to help their loved one and damaging their own lives in pursuit of trying to manage their loved one's addiction, floundering the same as I did. So many people are still struggling to find help, and something we have learned is that it's critical to provide that help early, before relationships with their loved ones have been poisoned by fear, anger, pain, and suffering. So let's try to make the future one where we can provide more answers to more of them before it's too late and their loved ones truly hit that rock bottom.
If you haven't already done so, please subscribe to Smart Recovery's YouTube channel, and don't forget to click the notifications tab to receive automatic updates every time we add new recovery-related content to our channel.